welcome to this explainer. If you're the parent or caregiver of a young adult with a developmental disability, you probably know this exact, very specific feeling. It's this mix of immense pride at how far they've come, completely intertwined with the creeping anxiety of knowing that eventually that school bus is just going to stop coming. For years, the school system provided this predictable, structured bubble. But stepping out of that bubble into the world of adult services, well, it can feel a lot like stepping off a cliff. But today, we are going to transform that cliff into a roadmap. We're going to break down exactly how families like yours can successfully navigate this massive transition into adult services.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the transition crossroads. 2. Moving from IEPs to adult services. 3. Accessing your support toolkit. 4. Building a meaningful day. 5. Housing and long-term planning. And finally, number 6, the evolving caregiver role.
Okay, Section 1, the transition crossroads, facing the services cliff.
So let's dive into this timeline. For years, the school has essentially been your hub, right? It's where the services, the therapies, and the goals all live. And when that ends, it really does feel like the safety net is just gone. But the truth is, the support doesn't end. It just changes where it comes from. So when should you actually start planning for this? The short answer is way earlier than you think. Literally, between ages 14 and 16, transition planning should be starting right inside your IEP meetings. By 17, you want to be gathering up all those medical and school evaluations to apply for Adult Developmental Disability, or DD services. At 18, bam, your child becomes a legal adult, which makes it the absolute perfect time to apply for supplemental security income. And by 21, or whenever school services exit in your specific state, those adult supports should be lined up and ready to take over. Getting early momentum here is exactly what gives you and your young adult some much-needed breathing room.
Moving on to Section 2, IEPs to Adult Services, the paradigm shift.
Now, as you'll see, the absolute key to mastering this transition is shifting how we fundamentally understand these support systems. This is a massive aha moment for a lot of families. It is a complete paradigm shift. See, in school, your child had what we call an entitlement. Under federal law, if they qualified for special ed, the school simply had to provide the services, period. But the adult world? That is based entirely on eligibility. Services are absolutely not guaranteed just because someone has a disability. You have to qualify, you have to apply, and yeah, often you're going to have to wait for funding. We're moving away from a guaranteed one-size-fits-all educational system to a highly flexible, eligibility-based toolkit that focuses on your young adult's entire quality of life. And because of this major shift to eligibility, a brand new concept takes center stage: person-centered planning, or PCP. Once that old, familiar IEP is gone, the PCP becomes the new foundation of your young adult's life. But here's the cool part. Instead of a school team leading the charge for educational benchmarks, the young adult leads this process. It asks the big questions. Where do they want to live? Do they want to work? What actually makes them happy? It's a process totally customized to their unique life goals and strengths.
Section 3, accessing your support toolkit, breaking down the bureaucracy.
So we know what the new plan is called, but how do we actually get our hands on the tools to make it happen? Well, it's time to break down the bureaucracy. This is the crucial question on pretty much every family's mind right now. How do you actually qualify for these things? Let's just validate right now that this bureaucratic maze is incredibly confusing, but I promise you it is manageable if we just take it step by step. All right, here is your game plan. Step 1. Get in touch with your local Developmental Disabilities Administration. Step 2. Complete the application. And remember those medical and school records we talked about gathering at age 17? This is exactly where they come in handy. Keep a massive binder, stay incredibly organized. Step 3 is an eligibility review. This might involve some interviews or observations. And finally, Step 4. You get a decision. Now, it's really vital to note here that even if you are deemed eligible, services aren't always going to start immediately. You might hit a wait list. And honestly, that's exactly why we start this whole process years in advance. You've got to be persistent, document every single phone call, and whatever you do, don't give up.
I know, the adult service world feels like an absolute alphabet soup, but mastering these 4 specific acronyms will provide the crucial funding for your toolkit. First up, Medicaid waivers. These are massive. They essentially waive certain federal rules so funds can be used for community-based services instead of institutional care. Next is SSI, which provides monthly financial support and often acts as a magic key that automatically qualifies your young adult for Medicaid. Then we have VR, or vocational rehabilitation. Think of them as your partner for job training and employment. And lastly, ABLE accounts. These are fantastic because they allow families to save money for their young adult without jeopardizing their eligibility for all those other vital government benefits.
Section 4. Building a meaningful day, from theory to practice.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is thinking about the day-to-day. Without the morning school bell ringing, how do we fill those hours with purpose, structure, and joy? Well, a meaningful day is completely customizable. It's not just go to a day program or sit on the couch at home. For young adults who want to work, there's supported employment, where they can work out in the community right alongside a job coach. There's also customized employment. This is where a job is literally built from the ground up around their specific talents, like maybe they absolutely love sorting things or assembling parts. There's even self-employment and micro-enterprises. And hey, for those who aren't quite ready for traditional work, volunteering or structured day programs can provide some really massive social connections.
To really see what this looks like in the real world, just look at Maya's story. Maya always loved animals, but when school ended, her days just felt really long and quiet. However, with the help of a job coach, she started volunteering at a local animal shelter, just folding laundry at first. Over time, she learned to feed the cats and even help out with adoption events. Now, she works there 3 mornings a week. As her mother Danielle notes, finding that niche gave Maya a true purpose and a place. It just grounds all these dry bureaucratic options in real beautiful human success, doesn't it?
Section 5. Housing and long-term planning, securing the future.
All right, let's talk about the heavy stuff. This addresses the long-term anxieties pretty much every parent carries. Where is my young adult going to live, and who is going to protect them when I no longer can? Well, housing is a spectrum. Many young adults do stay at home, utilizing in-home supports like personal care aides. But there's also supported living, where they can live in their own apartment with drop-in staff. There are group homes for shared living with round-the-clock support, and of course, fully independent living. But listen closely. The absolute most important takeaway here is that housing programs have notoriously long waitlists. I can't stress this enough. You need to explore these options and get on those waitlists years before a move is actually needed.
Look, it's incredibly hard to let go. Take Tasha's parents, for example. They just assumed she would live with them forever. But, worrying about the future, they helped her transition into a small group home. And yeah, it was really hard at first, but our father Ben realized it unlocked something amazing in her. She started setting her own alarm. She started cooking her own meals. It's so important to validate that parental fear of letting go. But, as Tasha shows us, the independence that comes from it can be absolutely life-changing. And to truly ensure lasting peace of mind, families have to implement long-term legal and financial safeguards. This isn't just a bunch of boring paperwork. This is protection. It involves exploring things like supported decision-making or guardianship to help with major legal and medical choices. It means setting up special needs trusts so you can protect their assets without ruining their eligibility for those benefits we talked about. And something I highly recommend is creating a care map. This is a written, living document detailing your young adult's routines, their medical needs, their likes, their dislikes. Think of it as a vital instruction manual and safety net for any future caregivers.
Which brings us to Section 6, the evolving caregiver role, from manager to partner.
So, we've talked about a lot of logistics today, but this right here, this is the emotional core of our explainer. Because as your child transitions, your own identity is about to undergo a really profound change. Think about it. During the school years, you were the manager. You directed every IEP meeting, you fiercely protected them, you managed every tiny detail. But in the adult years, your young adult's world expands. They get to make choices now, and therefore your role has to shift. You become a guide, a coach, a partner. You aren't just speaking for them anymore. You're doing the hard work of helping them find their own voice so they can advocate for themselves.
I know it can feel terrifying to step back, but hear this. You are not stepping away. Not at all. You are simply stepping into a new, incredibly empowering role for this next chapter. You are stepping right alongside them. So, as you look at all the tools, the timelines, and the housing options we've covered today, I want to leave you with this question. How will you embrace your new role as a true partner in your young adult's journey? Because it is a journey filled with incredible possibilities. And with the right roadmap, you are perfectly equipped to help them navigate it.